Bonjour mes élèves. So some of you were gone on Monday and you didn't get this information, and even for those of you who were there, we had to go through this rather quickly. So I wanted to put together a quick video to go through les couleurs, the colors. So most of this you already knew. There were a few new ones that we added. Alors, rouge, orange, jaune, vert, turquoise, bleu, violet, rose, blanc, gris, noir, brun, marron, beige, doré, argenté, clair, foncé, and multicolore. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about a couple of these. The ones that have an ending in parentheses, we know that we're going to add the E not based on a person, but based on the item that's being described. So vert becomes verte if we're describing an item that's feminine. So for example, if it is a green tie, it is une cravate verte. We add the E at the end. Almost all of these colors, we could add an S at the end as well, if we're talking about more than one of them. Now, the new words that we added are doré and argenté. We've learned that we can't add an E to a plain old E, but we can add an E to an accented E. So to make these feminine, we're allowed to add an E to the end. The word multicolore ends with an E, so we're not going to change that in the feminine, but we could change it in the plural. Now the words clair and foncé, notice they have a little dot, dot, dot before them. That's because when we use those, we're going to flip around the order like we do so often in French. If I wanted to say that someone was wearing a light gray sweatshirt, we know that colors go after the thing that they describe. So if it was just a gray sweatshirt, first of all, we would say un sweatshirt gris. If it's a light gray sweatshirt, we would actually say un sweatshirt gris clair. So you flip around the entire phrase, a sweatshirt gray light. So the little dot, dot, dot here represents the color that we're using. The light or the dark goes after it. So notice that some of these colors have an extra little line at the end. We're going to talk about what that's for in a second. So first of all, just a quick review, because we didn't really go through this in class. We know that colors are adjectives. Like most adjectives, they go after the thing they describe. There are no colors that are bags adjectives. And they have to agree with that noun in gender and number. So un legging noir is a black legging. Une robe violette is a purple dress. Notice this one has kind of a weird feminine ending. Same thing with the next one. Des baskets blanches. Des baskets blanches are white tennis shoes. Basket is feminine and plural. So we had the feminine ending and the plural ending. So pay attention to those two because those two colors are weird. Now, besides violet and blanc, which have different feminine forms, we have a few other colors that are irregular in another way. They're irregular because they never agree with the noun that they describe. So we have une ceinture marron. Even though ceinture is feminine, notice that marron can't add an E at the end. Des sandales orange. Even though sandal is plural, we can't put an S on orange. Des bracelets turquoise. Even though bracelet is plural, we can't put an S at the end of turquoise. So those three colors are extra weird because they're actually nouns being used as adjectives. So to go backwards, turquoise is actually a gem. It's a stone. Orange, of course, is the fruit, an orange. Marron is the word for chestnut. So when you're saying des bracelets turquoise, in French, what you're really saying are bracelets that are the color of turquoise, or des sandales orange, sandals that are the color of an orange. So because these are things functioning as colors, they're not really color words to begin with, we're not allowed to do any agreement on them. So that's why on your vocab list, you have this little dash next to orange, turquoise, and marron. So I don't have a place for notes specifically on this on your vocab sheet, but I would suggest that you make a note maybe in the margin or wherever you have space to tell yourself that that's what that little dash means. You can't do any agreement. You can't make it feminine. You can't make it plural. Now notice that you have that same little dash here with clair and foncé. So let's talk about how those work. With clair and foncé, we're also not going to do any agreement on the words clair or foncé, but notice what else happens. If I'm saying a blue skirt, it would be une jupe bleue, and I add an E to the end of bleu because, of course, jupe is feminine. However, if I want to say that that skirt is light blue, une jupe bleu clair, once I add clair to the color, not only does clair not do agreement, we're not doing any agreement on bleu either. So it takes away all possible agreement. Same thing would happen with foncé. Des bottes grises, ES, gray boots, because bottes is feminine plural. But if we want to say that they're dark gray boots, des bottes gris foncé, no agreement on foncé. We're also going to take away the agreement on gris, nothing there. So that's what you need to know about those two in particular. So maybe make a note specifically about these two. What this means is that you're not going to do any agreement on any part of that color phrase. So once you have your notes filled in and a little reminder to yourself about what that dash means, then it'd be a good idea for you to do this written practice, especially if you weren't in class on Monday or didn't really have time to do this activity to its fullest. Pause the video, write down these phrases en français in French, and then unpause and I'll go through the answers with you. Alors, numéro 1, a silver watch is une montre argentée. We can add an extra E to the end. Numéro 2, some gray vests, des gilets gris. Now, normally we should add an S to the color here because it's more than one vest, but we can't add an S onto an S, so it's going to stay exactly as it is, only for that reason. Numéro 3, his light green tie, sa cravate vert clair. So because we added clair, we're not going to do any feminine agreement on that color phrase. Numéro 4, our orange socks. Nos chaussettes orange. Chaussette is plural, but orange is one of those weird colors that we're not allowed to change, so no S at the end. Numéro 5, the white clothes. Les vêtements blancs. Blanc avec un S. So clothes is plural. We need an S at the end of this. Numéro 6, your dark blue belt. Since I didn't specify what kind of your, it could be either ta or votre. It would be ta because ceinture is feminine. So ta ceinture bleu foncé ou votre ceinture bleu foncé. Notice again, even though ceinture is feminine, bleu and foncé do not have any agreement at the end. So we will continue using colors throughout this entire unit. Make sure that you understand how those colors work and how we put them together.